Hi, I'm Dennis Urick. I'm a Vietnam veteran. When I was in the basic course, there were probably 24 Army warrant officers had taken direct commissions and would talk about their time in Vietnam because they had already spent one tour. And they said, Urick, do not go to the 101st Airborne Division. No matter what you do not go to the 101st. Spent a week transitioning through the in-processing procedures. They come in and announced assignments. Of course, Urick being at the bottom of the list, I was probably the last one assigned, and it was Urick, 101st Airborne Division. So, just said, well, that's my time to go. And so I went up there, and it was the place not to go. They lost 3 times as many people in I Corps, which where the 101st was, than the rest of Vietnam combined. A Shau Valley, Khe Sanh, Ho Chi Minh Trail, DMZ, all in one area up there. And I was assigned to the 2nd and 17th Cav Charlie Troop, Condors, and initially flew Slicks, that's the UH-1 helicopter. And primarily my job with the Slick platoon was downed aircraft recovery. So if the Cobras or the 58s go out there and get shot down, then we would load our infantry platoon up and go pick them up. Secure the area, pick them up, and bring them back. So a lot of ready room and time, waiting for somebody to get shot down. I wasn't there very long. Again, one of the aircraft was shot down well into the A Shau Valley. And I was flying the right seat in the Huey, and my platoon leader was in the left seat. And they had tried to insert these long-range reconnaissance patrols in a small aircraft, and it got shot down. It was in kind of a dip. So they went out to rescue, and there was a lot of fire. First time we tried to go in, well, we had to do it with ladders. Couldn't get in there because of the trees. So we had ladders outside the aircraft. What means you have to fly over and hover, and then they climb up the ladder. Well, first time we went in, fire was so heavy that we had to break off. We could not get in to that there. So another 30 minutes, there more aircraft came in, more fire, artillery fire. And because I was with the platoon leader, we were the lead aircraft. So we flew in there and dropped down in below the trees, got all the people out except for one. And what he did was, he's standing on top of the aircraft to get on. He had a mic to talk to us. He says, go. And he threw the mic away and went to grab the ladder, and we were already gone. So the aircraft behind us came in, picked him up. He jumped on the ladder and climbed up about 3 steps and just hung there. And of course he had his pack on, rifle. And one of the most amazing things of any of our guys in our unit is the crew chief went down the ladder, took his gear off, took his chicken plate off, walked down the ladder, grabbed him by the rucksack and held him until we got off to a LZ where we could drop him off. Amazing courage to do that. He had his one leg hooked over the ladder and grabbed a hold of the other guy, and he's like this, at probably 1,500 feet above the ground. So that was the first one. The other mission was insert the long-range reconnaissance patrol, LRPs. That's 6-man teams that I had the greatest respect for, because we would take them out and drop them out in what we called Indian country, and they would stay out there for 4, 5, 6 days, and then we go pick them up. And everyone, when you pick them up, the sound they loved the best was that Huey blade, whop, 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 because I'm going home. When you go pick these guys up, especially if they've been wounded, you look around and you look at their face, and these are kids, 18, 19 years old. And the fright and the knowledge that they're going to get back to a safe area, a lot of times you get the thumbs up for the guys. Like, thank God you got me, and take me in. So we did that for my first 7 months. Then I got selected to fly Cobras, and I flew front seat for about 2 months, waiting for a transition, and that's when Lamasan 719 happened. That was the Vietnamese incursion into Laos to collect the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So I was moved back from the Cobras back to the UH-1s, and essentially the same thing out there. We flew out of Quezon. It was probably the worst environment for helicopters you could possibly imagine. In most of Vietnam, it's triple canopy jungle. So if you're flying over the jungle, by the time the enemy sees you, you're already gone. Out there, it's low scrub brush, so they can hear you coming from miles away. And so we lost 3 of our scouts and 1 Cobra in the first day. We went out, there was a place called Chapone. There was supposedly a POW camp out there, and our unit went there first thing across the line, first thing in the morning, to see if we could get out there and capture that camp. But unfortunately, they knew we were coming. It was supposed to be a big surprise for the South Vietnamese going in there, but the Viet Cong, North Vietnamese Army knew we were coming. So that camp was evacuated. We spent the next 2.5, 3 months supporting the South Vietnamese Army in the incursion to cut the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And unfortunately, it was a bit of a disaster. We had to evacuate them back into South Vietnam. I was flying what we call command and control, CNC mission. And we were supporting the ARVNs out there, where I took 3 Cobras, and we went out, and the Air Force Forward Air Controller would give us targets. So I went out there, and my observer was a Sergeant Ed Keith. He was an MI type guy, and he had stabilized binoculars. So he lay on the flight deck with the binoculars and find the targets, especially if they're shooting at you. You could see the flashes, and he would tell the Cobras where the targets are. So that communication between him and the Cobra gunships. Well, we went down one turn too quick, and we took 650 caliber rounds through the bottom of the aircraft. So it hit Keith, blew his left leg off, hit the right shoulder, and nicked the wrist. The inside the aircraft is covered with blood. Instruments were all going red lights. Got down on the deck with the Cobras to follow us. We got into Quezon, to the medevac pad, and we offloaded. And this guy is really guts, because he did this. And they took him in, and we went down to Quang Tri that evening to the evac hospital, and he had lost his left leg. And 2 things he said. One, he says, my left leg's cold, and there wasn't a left leg. And he started crying, and I thought, oh, that's really, really hard. And I said, Ed, why? What's going on? He says, you guys are the closest I've been to anyone, because we gave him a Cav hat. We actually dug out a 50 caliber bullet that was in the aircraft and put a dog chain for him. And I saw him at Letterman Hospital on the way back, and I've seen him 2 or 3 times at reunions. And he passed away 3 years ago, and is at Arlington Cemetery. So another very gutsy guy. It was a challenging career. We lost 9 pilots in my unit at the time I was there in the year, and 8 enlisted guys. Yeah, I was awarded 4 Distinguished Flying Crosses for heroism, Bronze Star, 17 Air Medals, 4 Meritorious Service Medals, and Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry. So I was in the wrong place at the right time a number of times. For me, and a lot of other professional soldiers, when you come back from Vietnam, because you're going to a military base, and the towns outside the military base are pro-military. So I was never exposed to baby killer, spit in your face, none of that. So it's the young men that go back to their hometown, or probably small to large cities, who suffered the wrath of the anti-war protesters, and they didn't deserve that.